Recently, I was at a conference and we were at the most stunning location where I was very, very grateful. Now, one of the things that happened just prior was I started engaging and chatting to the CEO, and he was saying how amazing the location was and how special it was to him because it took him back to family memories. Now, when he kicked off the conference, he actually stated that conversation that he and I were having, and actually explained the situation that he was having with his family and how amazing it was to have his family holidays there. Now, what was really amazing was it set the most amazing atmosphere to that conference in that given moment. And the reason for that, it wasn't just about work. He was actually sharing something about himself. Communication, leadership, and culture go hand in hand. They're like a glove, they're weaved together. When we get our communication right, we actually, make sure that we are fronting up, we're showing up, we're visible to our team, we're making sure that we're encouraging everyone to have a voice within our business, we're actually inspiring people to come with ideas. We're also making sure that we share information in a way that is timely, relevant, and actually connects and what people actually require. Now, when we create that human touch and we create that amazing culture, great things happen. We have an engaged workforce that belong, but we also get the business results that are required and desired. Welcome to our 4-part series, which is all around building great communication into your culture. In this particular series, Sarah and I are going to share with you practical hacks you can implement immediately to transform your communication. Because remember, often people leave an organisation because of communication. So I'm going to hand over to Sarah to take us through the first practical hack, and then I'm going to be back shortly.
So when we engage people to work with us in the workplace, we give this thing called an agreement. Some people call it a contract, but it's an agreement. And it's built on the foundation of trust and confidence. And so when we think about what communication looks like in our workplace, we need to make sure that that trust and confidence that we sign people up to goes both ways. So we're actually making sure that as a leadership team, we're encouraging everybody to speak up and also to speak sideways. And businesses that do this really well recognize that the work required around communication isn't just for HR or a leadership team, it actually involves everybody in their conversation. So they're working to make sure that it's a lateral process, that feedback's coming bottom up as well, because that's just as important as anything that's coming top down through your business. They make sure that that communication channel really is taking all of those diverse perspectives into and opinions into consideration when you're looking at what communication looks like. But one of the amazing elements with communication is you can create those really quick connections and sense of belonging for people in the workplace. Now, as a business is growing and evolving, that can be quite challenging to do for a leadership team, particularly as you become, if your hierarchy grows and you become more dispersed from where the frontline workers are actually based. So our first hack for you today is around creating a get to know me manual. Now, Adam Grant first talked about this in 2013. So go back and reference that if you want more information. But a couple of quick points about the get to know me manual that I think you can take away is we talk about sharing our summary of our strengths and our weaknesses. So yes, authentic and vulnerability are going to come up here, but it's really important to get to know somebody and understand the great things about them and the stuff that they're working on. And as a leader, how powerful is that if you can share that with people as they're coming into your business? We can also talk about, as leaders, is what our personal mission and vision looks like. What an amazing insight to share with someone as they're connecting with your business or even your existing team to actually strengthen those relationships. And the other thing I really like about these manuals, and again, go and read and get some more information, but it's actually about how to give that person feedback, because we're all different and we all like to receive feedback in a different way. And it's so powerful for people to understand that actually when I'm connecting with Kirsten or when I'm connecting with Sarah, here's the best way to engage with them, to give them that information so that we can all keep working on change in our business. And if you really want to take this one step further, then get your entire business to do the get to know me document. Imagine how powerful it is if somebody's coming into a team and there are these get to know me documents and you can get up to speed with how your team works just like that.
I really like that. And you could actually too, Sarah, couldn't you put in, your profile photo, but you could also put in one of your absolute passions in life. So they actually connect with you visually as well. You could put, like a smorgasbord of photos. That would actually be quite neat. Communication has a significant impact on your business. And it's one that so often people just say the word doesn't mean anything. But please remember that it is such a significant pillar, because culture, communication, leadership are entwined. And when you look at the most common reasons people leave an organization, it's because of culture, leadership, or communication. So the 2 tips that I would like to share with you today relate to how do we actually strengthen up that communication piece. The first one is making sure that you actually spotlight your communication strategy, and you actually do an audit. You overlook it and you see, what is my communication strategy like? What am I going to be speaking to people about? How do I speak to them, and in what particular method? So really have a look at that strategy that you have in place to make sure that every piece of communication is actually counting, rather than just ticking a box. Because when we get our communication right, not only do we have a lift in the inspiration, the engagement, we build a creative culture where people feel confident in having a voice and giving you suggestions. They get that greater sense of belonging and that greater fit. So automatically everybody is actually working together for that greater good. The second tip that I'd like to share with you is one that I call the visibility challenge. Now, Greg Ferran from Air New Zealand CEO, he is amazing at this. And one of the things that through communication, after he was seen visibly on aircraft, fronting up, instead of sitting down and being served his cup of tea and biscuit, what he would do is he actually would get up and he would own that trolley with his team, and he would serve the customers and interact with them. What was that showing in leadership? What was that showing in regard to the culture that he would like and has started to create in New Zealand? Now, this is the visibility challenge I'd like to share with you, is in the next week, is look at how much time you are spending so that you're in an environment where you are visible, that you are showing up for your team in times where it counts, and also that you're learning at all times. You're observing and you're learning, you're interacting, and so that you can actually use that information that you're learning about to actually shape your communication, your culture, and your leadership.
So what was with that buzzword, communication? Well, everything really, as Kirsten said, leadership, communication, and culture are like a glove. You can't separate them out. They go hand in hand. And so we need to just remember that our communication is a central pillar to actually how those really high trust cultures are evolving. So please take those hacks that we've shared with you today and spotlight where your communication's at, looking at those get to know me manuals, and actually just how visible you are in your business. And we're really looking forward to catching up with you next week when we look at communication throughout your employee life cycle.